All right, guys. First our first day of work on the Camaro. First of all, we got to get the steering stuff on Project POS 10, and then I'll show you the damage on the actual Camaro here. Yeah, hit a post right there, in case you can't tell where I got it at. So, like I said, I got a different fender. I'll just take it off that red Camaro, and got an IROC hood. So, like I said, we'll go ahead and get this guy painted up, and I think it'll look a lot better. So that's my plans for today. All right, guys, I'm gonna do a quick steering theory video on you. All right, here's your steering shaft goes into the top of the steering gearbox. Out of the gearbox comes the pitman arm. This is a splined shaft, so it can't, it only goes on one way. This is a center link. This is the idler arm, almost the same thing as the pitman arm. And here's the inner tie rod end, adjusting sleeve, and outer tie rod end bolt to the center link here on either side. And then the outer tie rod ends go on the spindle to actually turn their tire. So go ahead and turn the wheel the other way. You can see how that pivots, and the center link is moved by the pitman arm, and the idler arm does the exact same thing as the pitman arm wherever it's at. So that's how all the components of the steering system. There's tie rod end, adjusting sleeve, inner tie rod end, center link, idler arm, pitman arm, gearbox, and another tie rod end, inner tie rod end, adjusting sleeve, and outer tie rod end. So that's the basics of how our steering system works. So go ahead and straighten the wheel out, babe. All right, and that's I'm going to go ahead and replace all that stuff, and then I'll show you how to set tow. So, well, get you a good enough setup that you can go to, you can drive it around for a couple days and let your springs settle until you can get in alignment, computer alignment. So, I guess I'll check back with you later. Pickle fork. All right, here it is removed. Now we're just going to replace it with the stuff in those boxes. All right, temporarily installed the new stuff. I still have to move the adjusting sleeves to check all toe and everything like that. You tighten up all the bolts and put the cotter pins in, or all the nuts and put the cotter pins in. But other than that, yeah, it's ready to go. All right, went ahead and got the steering stuff put together. Now it's up on a jack. So I'm getting ready to drop it down. I did tighten up the lug nuts. So getting ready to lower it down. And then we can start on our makeshift alignment here. You have to have weight on the wheels to actually, you have to have weight on the wheels to set your toe, because it has to be at ride height. Because you can tell it'll actually toe in a little bit, because as the suspension droops, it'll want to pull the front of your wheel in. The further it goes away from the stationary center link. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, stationary center link there. So you can get a little bit of, if you've ever heard the term bump steer, when you hit a bump, it'll make your front tires turn out a lot of times. Both the front of the tires will actually want to turn away from each other. So I guess the same is true when you hit I guess a droop at full droop, your tires will have a little bit more toe in than at ride height. So whenever you do this, we're talking like a 1/16 of an inch is what you need to have for of toe in. So I mean, it has to be pretty damn close. So when you do this, you definitely want to have it at ride height, and measure the same height on the, measure up from the floor, the same height on the front and the back. Say there's something in the way on the back, some sort of chassis, something in the chassis, so you can't run a tape measure all the way across. If there's anything obstructing it, this won't really work. And you have to measure the same height from top to bottom, from the floor up, so you get an accurate measurement on both of them. Because, like I said, we're talking fractions of an inch here. They have to be pretty damn close. You can't get it, a quarter inch, that's close, or 1/8 inch. You're going to wear the hell out of your front tires if you do it like that. And you wouldn't think that a 1/16 of an inch would matter that much, or an 1/8 of an inch, or 3/16 of an inch would matter that much. But when you're talking about your front tires not facing the same direction, I mean, it's a big deal. You can wear down a set of tires in a hurry. So, like I said, you definitely want it to be at ride height, and you want to have, like, see, I don't have my hood on, I don't have my transmission in, I don't have, there's a few things that I need to, check before I set the final toe on this thing. But I'm just doing a quick toe to, so I can push it around the shop in here, because I know it's pretty far off right now. I just eyeballed it within about a 1/2 inch. about yay. I'm about maybe an 1/8 inch over on this side. But regardless, just in case this center link has different mounting points than the factory stuff, just a little bit off of center, or just a little bit different than the factory mounting points, it could change things. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can affect this. So I'm starting off with it. I'm going to lower the jack down and set it at ride height, and then, you always want to, when you set it down off the jacks, you want to roll it forward and backwards several times to make sure that's where the tires are actually going to be at, because your tires are going to go down and then they'll want to flex. The tires, as the suspension travels in an arc, the tires the tires will be holding it in place, so it can't settle all the way. So the tires will kind of hold it in place. The tires will want to be trying to push themselves out, but the traction of the tires aren't going to want to slip on the concrete. So you kind of you need to have them. You need to roll it forward and backwards a few times to let everything settle and let it go ahead and adjust itself, and then you can go ahead and check your toe. And ideally, you would have some sort of a bar, like, say, there's my engine and transmission stand. Ideally, you'd have a flat bar at some point on your tire, so you can measure here or here or here, and just measure. Make sure you measure the same every time, But my front tires, they don't really have a flat bar anywhere, so I think I'm going to try to go, say, to like one of these points, like the end of a point on one of the pieces of rubber or here, and try to measure from the same point every time. The only problem is I'm going to have to worry about getting the right height off the floor, so that might not line up. So there's, ideally when you check the toe, when you're using a tape measure, you'd have a straight bar to check your tread with every single time. And you could do, the outside shoulder here, or the inside shoulder of the tread, because that's usually pretty straight. But I mean, ideally you'd want to do it somewhere, like I said, the same on the front and the back, and same every time you check it, because it's going to take several tries, more than likely. You turn one a little bit, turn the other a little bit, and make sure that they're the same. But right now I should be in the ballpark, And another thing you want to do is make sure your steering wheel is facing straight forward, and your tires, if you can eyeball them and get them as pretty, as close as you can before you start to adjust these. And the way to actually adjust them is to, these are not tightened up yet, so you can actually twist this adjusting sleeve. I can't tell if you can see what I'm looking at or not. You can actually twist that adjusting sleeve, and that'll lengthen the tie rod, because one of them is reverse thread and the other is a standard thread. So all you got to do is twist that, and it'll point your tire in or out. So that's how you check your toe in. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you the final ride height of the S10 here. It's that was a bad example, I guess. Got the fender cover on there. Can't really go too far over here, but that's where she's sitting right now. Actually on the ground, rolling. Depending on the tire size, I just end up choosing. Which it might end up being a 33 by 1050 or something. I could do a little trimming right here, and I could do a little more back here before I actually get to the body mount down here. But you can see the hitch, the 2.5 inch body lift I put on it. So I might end up going something tall and skinny. And then back here, like I said, the same plan. So I got a couple tires I threw in the back, and got a header I need to slide it back on. But here's my exhaust, stainless tips. I think it's 3. It might be 3.5 inch. I don't remember what it is. It looks like it's got dinged up at some point. Probably rolling around in the garage here. But yeah, it's my current plan for the ride height. Like I said, these are actually from the sides of the tires, the sides of these lugs right here. It only measures about 32, so it's going to be about a 6.5 inch bigger tire. So I think I measured earlier. And I can still see my mark. That'll put the truck itself up about here, give or take. So, sorry, the bottom of the fender will end up sitting about here. So the truck will sit pretty close to level. Now I might end up getting some Coil helper springs, like I did on my Silverado at one point. I've got a set over here. I've got a single one over here, but where is it? I saw it earlier. Anyway, it's just a little like 1,000-pound helper spring. You can put on either side. A little coil spring you stick between the. There. Oh, I see it now. You stick it between the frame and the axle. Just a little guy like this. Nothing too fancy, but you can still compress it pretty easily. But that should pick up the truck a little bit in the back end, in case the ride height doesn't look, in case it has too much of a front end pre-runner look, which I kind of want. I want it to sit pretty level, is what my plan is. So that's my plan for right now. And my wife's wanting me to get in the pool right now, so I'm gonna do that right now. But here's the front suspension and stuff. You can actually see quite a bit without the lower fascia on there. So I'm probably gonna end up building a little light bar from it and stuff, and it'll end up. Oh, we'll see. That's kind of where she's gonna sit for a while for right now, until get the Camaro painted. So we'll go hop in the pool.